What's going on today? We have the RTX 5060 Ti. This is the 16GB model of the card, and it is the Windforce OC variant. We'll be pairing it with the 9800X3D and 32 gigs of RAM. The only thing I want you to do is just hit that subscribe button. Let's jump into the game. All right, what's going on? We are in Silent Hill F on the 5060 Ti. This is the 16GB model. Got it paired with a 9800X3D and 32 gigs of RAM. Let's jump into it. We're here at 4K resolution, and the reason I started at 4K is because there's a little trick to this title where you can get actually a lot more frames. And right here we are at the quality preset, quality DLSS, not TSR. Make sure you use DLSS. And we have that frame limitation turned off. I'm not going to go down to that truck because it starts a story, and I want to, kind of keep it light, keep it over here. But this is right at 45 FPS. Okay, so if you do wish to game right here at 4K on a 5060 Ti, you can totally do it. And I'm going to show you that kind of at the end of the 4K segment using something called smooth motion, or some people call it smooth frames. It's like a way you can emulate some sort of, I guess, driver level frame generation. So it's not, 2x, 3x, 4x, but it's some sort of way that it can interpolate those frames and give you a nice boost, and it will give you over 60 in that case. But let's just keep going with kind of the core part of the test here, just to make sure that everyone sees what they want to see. So with just using DLSS balanced, that gives us a little bit of a uptick to mid 40s. So we're kind of staying out of the 30s now, but it still dips down. I mean, it's still, it's still struggling to run all this Lumen, which is the kind of lighting system inside of Unreal. It's basically ray tracing, so it's pretty intensive, but it gives you about 40 FPS here, which on a title like this, if it did support frame generation, I feel like it would be a nice way to play it, simply because it's a slower paced title. You don't need to have insanely fast reflexes for a game that's, kind of this more story based, kind of just traversal kind of a title. But let's just keep on going and see what performance does, because performance looks quite nice at 4K. So this is performance DLSS. It doesn't give you like the biggest jump, but it does do a little something. It honestly takes a little while for it to kind of kick in and get its like whereabouts. So it gives you around 45, 43 down into the, you're still not getting like a huge difference. The difference kind of comes once you start reducing some of that lumen. So what I'm going to do now is just jump over to that next preset and get into it. All right, so let's come down here. Let's go to this preset. We're going to go to balanced. So this, what it does, let's turn this dumb thing off. It always does that. All right, so what it does is it takes lumen from the reflections and switches it down to screen space. So right now we have lumen high and epic, but it drops it down to screen space reflections. So what that does is it reduces a lot of the strain on that system. So we're going to get off of the DLSS, or we're going to get on the DLSS and off of the TSR. All right, so what that does, let's see if that gives us a nice visible jump. All right, let's give it a minute to kind of get itself together here. That gives us about 47, 48 FPS. Looks like it finally kicked in there. Okay. So again, this is on that quality DLSS, so it might smooth itself out once we get down into some more powerful DLSS, some more, more aggressive upscaling. So let's do that now. Let's just jump and see what we can do as far as this upscaling goes. See if that gives us a little bit of a break. This is balanced preset with balanced DLSS. That gives us 48 FPS. 49. So as you can see, kind of like you got to get pretty aggressive with this title at 4K on this card to get it close to 60, which is why I really think that this is a perfect use for that smooth motion within the NVIDIA app. So right here we're above 60. That's the first time I've seen it kind of peak above 60 ever since. So this is a setting that if you did not want to use any sort of driver level frame generation, you could do it this way. But let's jump in and see what some more aggressive DLSS can do, because we are at 4K. So DLSS performance looks really, really good. It's nice and sharp, and that gives us around 60 FPS. So it looks like you're going to have to give up some of the lumen as well as use performance DLSS to get it to hover around 60 FPS, which is generally where I would say kick on frame generation, but this game does not support it. And on top of that, it's a slower game. It's not something that you need these like incredibly fast reflex times or response times. So it's a good application for that DLSS override. All right, so let's come into here and just get through the rest of it. Then I'll show you those overrides and what I'm talking about. All right, so performance, and then we're gonna go. So what it does is it drops that lumen from epic to high. And then it, of course, leaves it on screen space reflections, drops all this to medium. Get rid of the TSR. It is so bad. All right, let's get rid of this. All right, let's see what this does. All right, so this gives us, this is a performance preset with DLSS quality. And that gives us about what we were expecting on the previous balance setting with performance. So, you're kind of like playing a little bit of a balancing act here. But the game just really, at 4K, struggles to stay above 60 almost no matter what you do, unless you just really bottom the whole thing out. And to me, that's just not, that ain't worth it. I think that, some frame gen could be a pretty good serviceable setting to get us to a nice playable experience. So right now we're just over 60, and it does run a little bit better down here than up there. So we're right around 70 FPS. Again, I think this is just because whenever you go into these like more corridor areas, it obviously has less stuff to load. It doesn't have to view up a mountain far in the distance, so it gives you a little bit of a break. But let's just go all the way through all these settings and get to the good stuff. So let's come down, go back to balanced. So this is a performance preset with a balanced DLSS setting. These names, I wish that they would just stick with low, medium, high, because it is like performance DLSS with balanced preset is just like hard to keep my mind like it's thinking straight. All right, so this does give you a 60 FPS experience for sure, kind of like all throughout. Now you do have that nice atmosphere that is due to that lumen being at least on high right now. But the main thing is we want to be able to enjoy the whole game with a good frame rate. So let's just keep on going and get rid of this last little thing we got to cover. All right, so this would be performance DLSS on performance preset. And that gives you 70 FPS. All right, so 68, 67. So you can absolutely get, this game to run at 4K. I'm noticing a little bit of stutters right there though, starting to kind of creep in. So just kind of keep that in mind. But yeah, so this is a way to play it. How I would play it would be as follows. I'll show you. All right, so what I'm going to do is come in here and I would go to quality, and just bear with me because we're going to fix this. So no limit, of course. Lumens on epic, everything's set to very high. TSR, get rid of that. Need to go back to performance or back to quality DLSS. So this is how I would play it right here. All right, and bear with me because obviously you've seen this already. But what I would do is I would come in here, hit your Windows key, and come over to your NVIDIA app. And I've already got it pulled up here. So right now you're going to go to Silent Hill F on your program settings. If you're not seeing this, if it launches this way, just go to settings and then make sure you're on that game. Now come down here to driver settings and you're looking for smooth motion. Okay, you turn that on. All right, now you can, once you do that, it's all good. You can just, close that out. Now let's go back to the game. All right, so it has not applied. You have to restart. So I'm just giving a recap here. So just kind of write this in your mind. 38, 37 FPS, right? All right, so let's come down here and totally restart the game. I'll do this and I'll be right back. All right, so here we are back at it. And as you can see, our performance has gone up from, high 30s, low 40s to some pretty reliable 60s, or around 60 at least. So what this does is it inserts a frame in between the real frames, and it kind of interpolates between the real frames by providing, you know, that fake frame, and that will give you an additional FPS and more smoothness. So with a game like this that doesn't rely heavily at all on reaction time or anything like that, this is exactly how I would play it, because I don't think you absolutely have to have 60 FPS all of the time. If you're right around 60 FPS on a game like this, I think that's fine. Now, what I will say about smooth frames is it does have a little bit, it's not DLSS frame gen. Let me be clear, it's something different. What that does though is it adds the slightest bit. I'm not sure if it's coming through on the YouTube, you know, browser or not, but right around the person, right around the girl here, it's got a little bit of, I guess I wouldn't call it ghosting. It's like a little bit of smearing. And that's not a fun word to say. It sounds way worse than I'm probably making it out to be, but it has a little bit of a caveat. So just keep that in mind, you know, I mean, but this is how I would personally play it. I would just kind of get over that. But, you know, if you're on a 5060 Ti and you've got a 4K panel, this is one way to play it. Now, what I want to do now is jump down into 1440, because that's kind of where this card does its best. And I wanted to kind of run through all those same settings, do a little bit of smooth motion on that one as well, and then you know, close on out. But yeah, we'll jump over to 1440, and I'll be right back. All right, welcome back. We are at 1440p now. Quality preset, quality DLSS. And smooth motion has been deactivated, so this is all just you know, kind of as nature intended at the moment. But yeah, we're at 63 FPS, 62 FPS. Of course, down here it's going to come up a little bit. We're going to get a nice little spike once we get down into that, you know, kind of closed off area. But the game really does pretty well with a 5060 Ti. You know, notice that the allocated VRAM is at 9.2, so just to be clear, this is the 16 gig version. The 8 gig version would not have similar performance because we're already over 8 gigs on this setting, so just keep that in mind. But yeah, we're at 64 FPS here. So for those who want a little bit more, you know, of course, the whole visual experience, you know, everybody's got different opinions on what they want to do. So let's just keep on going. I'll show you kind of everything again at 1440. So everything left the same. We're just going to switch over to that balanced upscaling. So balanced DLSS, we're at 69 FPS. This is a really nice setting here because it allows you to keep everything completely maxed out. And balanced DLSS at 1440. Typically, that's as low as I like to go on 1440, but it does look really, really, really good. I mean, the reflections, kind of this shimmer on the, you can tell that the ground is like slightly damp. The fog right here from that lumen, the global illumination looks really good. I mean, yeah, the whole atmosphere of this game just really is done pretty well. So 75 FPS. So let's jump down here again and hop down here and turn on the performance DLSS. So this is a quality preset with performance DLSS. That gives you 85 FPS. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to have any problem at all on this card. Now, granted, I do have a pretty powerful CPU in here, so we're not having any bottlenecking issues whatsoever. You don't have to get a 9800X3D. You could get away with something far less expensive and far less powerful that could be able to keep up just fine with what the 5060 Ti is throwing out. 14600K would probably be where I would go if I was Intel, and you know, a 7800X3D would be a nice CPU if you were on AMD. That will give you you know, very good performance, and it's about $100 cheaper than a 9800X3D, and it gives you plenty of breathing room. So if you ever wanted to upgrade your GPU at any point, that CPU would keep up just fine as well. But anyway, let's just keep on going. We've got 90 FPS here, so definitely nothing wrong. You know, I'm just going to show everybody everything, like I said. So let's come over here and go up to the balanced preset. turn off the frame limit, and come down here, get off of TSR. It's horrible. Look at TSR. I mean, look. Okay, so TSR quality, 43 FPS. Watch what happens when I go to DLSS. 66, 70. Like, why even have this on there? All right, anyway, that's just my little rant for the evening. All right, so 89, 92 FPS here. Yeah, you're not going to have any problem at 1440 with this card. This is running very, very well. All right, so let's just jump down here, go to options, check it out again, go to balance, show everybody everything, 85 FPS, 91, 92. Now, it does run a little bit worse for whatever reason up here, so probably down there in the village, it's around 100. You know, we're even topping upper 90s in some places. This game does have a lot of swing, so, you know, keep that in mind. You know, wherever I'm at is heavily dependent on, I guess, whatever's in the scene, because, you know, it can drop down into the 70s or be over 100 FPS on these exact settings. So, you know, I'm trying to traverse as much as I can, but, you know, the rule of thumb is, you know, try to find a place that doesn't have errors. Like, you don't want to have something that's like got stuff wrong that needs to be fixed. You don't want to test in that area, but you do want to test in an area that has swings of best to worse, you know, scenario. But not something that's like broken. And so far, this game doesn't seem to have any areas at all that are broken or wrong. I haven't been able to play but about maybe an hour or two of it. And it is terrifying. Sometimes I played it at night, and that was definitely pretty fun. So yeah, I definitely recommend this game for sure. But anyway, we're at 90 FPS here, and let's just keep on going. And we are going to check out performance. All right, so this is performance DLSS on the balanced preset. So 90s, 92 FPS. This game is handling, or this card is handling this game very, very well. I still think this is like one of the best purchases you can get this GPU cycle, at least until the Super Series comes out. But yeah, the 5060 Ti 16 gig is kind of that sweet spot. You can do 4K, but you know, if you're on 1440, it definitely handles almost everything you throw at it without like totally killing your bank account. All right, so let's look at the very next level. Go up. Let's see. Oh, need to go back to that preset. All right, so preset, go up to performance. Of course, we're going to kill that frame limit and come down here, turn off that, go here. All right, DLSS quality, here we go. Performance preset. DLSS quality, 93 FPS. Now it looks really good. The only thing that changed, the only main thing that changes, I'll rephrase it. The only main thing that changes with these presets of quality, balanced, and performance is going to be lumen. So on quality, your lumen is completely maxed out on your reflections and your global illumination. If you go to balanced, it gets rid of the reflections, but it leaves global illuminations on Epic, and it drops the reflections to screen space reflections, which is kind of like an old school way of doing it. But right here, what it does is it leaves screen space reflections on, but it drops that lumen from Epic to high, and then takes everything else down to the medium setting. That's kind of like what it's doing right here. But right now we're at 99 FPS, and again, you know, you're just not going to have any problems at all. 102 FPS here, 113, 120. Yeah, I mean, you're doing fine. All right, so let's jump to the very next level. Make sure we go through it all. All right, so last one, performance DLSS on performance settings. That gives you 115, 110 FPS. Now, what I did want to do is jump over and do that smooth frames again on the max settings to show you kind of what you can expect if you do use the smooth frames or smooth motion. I keep calling it smooth frames, but you know what I mean. All right, so I'm going to activate that and come right back. All right, so I have the smooth motion on. I'm just going to kick it back over to the quality preset. Turn that off, of course. Come down here, get rid of TSR, go to quality. So this is quality. This is quality preset with quality DLSS with smooth motion turned on. and that gives you right around 100 and 105 FPS. So definitely worth it, especially since this setting I believe was right around 60 anyway. So this just gives you basically free performance, with that smooth motion turned on. And at 4K, it had a little bit of smearing, probably because the interpolation was a little bit more aggressive. So there were like actual more physical time gaps between those frames. But right here with 1440, those distances between real frames are much shorter, so you have a lot more clean interpolation. So this isn't a bad way to play either. I mean, we're at 107 FPS with everything completely maxed out with that smooth frame override turned on and our smooth motion. I keep calling it the wrong thing, but you know what I mean. All right, so let's just jump into options here. Let's go through kind of the main presets before we exit today. All right, so this is balanced. So balanced preset with quality. I'm sorry, let me go back and fix this. This is not right. let me fix. I forget that it does all this. All right, I just saw the frames. I'm like, something ain't right. All right, so get rid of the frame limit. Oh, this is so tedious. I wish they would let me just leave this alone. All right, so DLSS quality and everything else is good to go. All right, so there we go. That makes way more sense. So balanced preset with quality DLSS, and of course no frame limit cap. But yeah, this gives you 125 FPS, and I mean this entire test, like other than maybe one little minor hiccup, one little minor snag, the frame time graph is dead flat. I mean the difference between when I first booted this game and now is night and day. That was I was very worried because I wasn't aware of those driver or those shader issues. But yeah, if you are catching me at this part in the video, I do repeat myself a little bit because people do skip around. But if you are having stutters, just leave the game running on the desktop for about 10 minutes. Let the shaders do their thing. Restart the game. Restart the PC. Restart the game back up after the PC comes back up, and you should be fine. That's what I did, and everything's been perfectly fine ever since. All right, so yeah, 108 FPS here with smooth frames enabled. All right, so let's jump into the next level. Come down here and go to the next level of preset. Where'd it go? I went right past it, didn't I? All right, there we go. Performance preset. Turn this off. Come down here. Get rid of that. All right, DLSS quality preset is on performance. This gives you 133 FPS. Now, something I did want to explore, which I should have done this at 4K, but I didn't. I want to, since DLSS looks so good, I want to get over to the high quality presets again, and then kick it down to maybe performance and see what kind of effect that has on smooth frames, or with that smooth frames enabled. All right, so let's jump to graphics here. All right, let's go down here. Quality, so we're gonna max it out. All right, the only thing we're not gonna max out is performance DLSS with smooth motion enabled. I said it right that time. 133 FPS. Yeah, this is a pretty nice setting right here. Man, this is great. You got everything maxed out. Performance DLSS still looks incredibly good. And smooth motion, just like, look at these frames, man. That is nice. Yeah, this is how I would play it. This is exactly how I would play this game at 1440p on this card. You cannot beat it. I love the addition of the smooth motion. That is just like, that's a game changer for titles that don't have native frame gen support, which this game might add, the proper frame gen support, and then of course I'll retest because that would be better than smooth frames, but at least you have this, right? Or smooth motion. I keep saying the wrong thing. All right, so I did decide to come back and kick it over to 4K. Got the smooth motion on, and this is with DLSS performance turned on, the quality preset. So that gives you 84 FPS. And then, let's check it out again. Let's just run through what I got here. So no limit, of course. This has been set to quality preset. All this stuff looks like this. So this is with that performance DLSS on, because I wanted to be able to give you guys kind of the example of best case scenario. And with smooth frames, with that performance DLSS, it gives you a nice little bump, because normally you're at 64 without that DLSS turned on to the performance setting. So that was quality. Let's go down to performance, and I'll show you kind of, you get a nice little uplift into the 80s. So yeah, just kind of cut this after the main video, and I wanted to make sure to include it. So yeah, on to the rest of the test. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up. If you haven't subscribed yet, I just want to ask you to please click that little button for me. It helps me get to where I need this channel to get to. Another way you can support the channel is by joining. I've got a member package available now if you're interested in that. If not, there's absolutely no pressure. And then in the bottom, there are links to my Amazon carts that basically has everything in there that I use to create these videos. If you use those links and purchase anything at all, it will give me a little bit of a kickback. You just got to complete your shopping cart within 24 hours of clicking my link. So you can click 5080 and then go buy cat food, and that would help me. Surprisingly, that's just how it works, but a lot of people don't know that. But yeah, if you are interested in anything at all on the 5060 Ti, just drop me a comment down there in the bottom, and we will see you in the very next video. Peace.